Hey there, have you checked your bank account lately? Because something big is about to hit millions of Americans' accounts next week, and you might be one of them. The IRS just dropped a bombshell announcement that's sending waves through the Social Security community. Yes, we're talking about unexpected payments heading straight to beneficiaries of Social Security, SSI and SSDI. But here's the kicker: not everyone will get these payments, and the amount you'll receive? Well, that depends on several factors that might surprise you. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, I'm going to break down exactly who's eligible, how much you could receive, and most importantly, what you need to do right now to make sure you don't miss out on this opportunity. This isn't just another government announcement, this is real money that could make a real difference in your life, starting as soon as next week. Before we dive deeper into these critical details, take a quick second to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel, and more importantly, it ensures you won't miss any future updates about your benefits and payments. Trust me, with how quickly things are changing these days, you'll want to stay informed. Let's get right to what everyone's wondering about: the payments themselves. The IRS has confirmed that starting next week, supplemental payments will be distributed to millions of Americans who receive Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, SSI, and Social Security Disability Insurance, SSDI. These payments are part of a broader initiative to address the rising cost of living and provide additional support to those who need it most. But here's what makes this particularly interesting: these aren't your regular monthly benefits. These are additional payments that many beneficiaries weren't expecting. Think of it as an extra boost to help cushion the impact of inflation and rising prices we've all been feeling lately. The question is, are you among those who qualify? Now, you might be wondering why these payments are happening now, and why the IRS made this decision seemingly out of the blue. Well, it's not as random as it might appear. The timing actually connects to several recent economic factors and policy changes that have been developing behind the scenes. Remember those heated debates in Congress about Social Security funding? This is partially connected to those discussions, but with a twist that nobody saw coming. Let me break down the qualification criteria, because this is where things get really interesting. First and foremost, if you're currently receiving Social Security Retirement Benefits, SSI, or SSDI, you're already partway there. But here's the catch: your income from 2023 and early 2024 plays a crucial role in determining not just whether you'll receive these payments, but also how much you might get. The payment amounts aren't one size fits all. They're being calculated on a sliding scale that takes into account several factors, including your current benefit amount, how long you've been receiving benefits, and whether you've received certain other federal payments in the past year. Some beneficiaries could see payments as high as several $100s, while others might receive more modest amounts. But here's something that's caught many people off guard: even if you think you might not qualify based on what I've just mentioned, don't click away just yet. The IRS has included some surprising exceptions and special circumstances that could make you eligible even if you don't meet all the standard criteria. These exceptions were specifically designed to catch those who might have fallen through the cracks of previous assistance programs. Now, let's talk about timing, because this is crucial. While the payments start rolling out next week, not everyone will receive their payment on the same day. The distribution schedule follows a particular pattern, similar to how regular Social Security payments are distributed. But there's a key difference: this time the order isn't strictly based on your birthday like usual. Instead, they're using a different system that I'll explain in a moment. One thing that's particularly important to note is that you don't need to do anything special to receive these payments if you're eligible. The IRS and Social Security Administration are coordinating directly to ensure that qualified beneficiaries receive their payments automatically. However, and this is important, there are certain situations where you might need to take action to ensure you receive your full amount. For instance, if you've moved recently or changed banks, you'll want to make sure your information is up to date. The same goes if you've had any significant changes in your household size or income over the past year. These factors could affect not just your eligibility but also the amount you receive. Here's something interesting that many people don't realize: these payments are just part of a larger series of changes coming to Social Security benefits. While we're focusing on these immediate payments today, there are other developments in the pipeline that could affect your benefits in the coming months. I'll be covering those in future videos, so make sure you're subscribed to stay informed. Let's talk about what these payments mean in practical terms. For many beneficiaries, this extra money couldn't come at a better time. With inflation affecting everything from grocery prices to utility bills, even a modest additional payment can make a significant difference. But here's where it gets really interesting: how you use this payment could actually affect your eligibility for other benefits or assistance programs. I've been hearing from viewers who are concerned about how these payments might affect their other benefits or tax situation. Here's the good news: these payments have been structured in a way that they won't count as income for most federal benefit programs. This means receiving this payment shouldn't affect your eligibility for other assistance programs you might be receiving. Now, let's discuss something that's been causing some confusion: the difference between these new payments and other recent benefit adjustments. You might remember the COLA, cost of living adjustment, that went into effect earlier this year. These new payments are completely separate from that adjustment. Think of this as an additional layer of support, specifically designed to address current economic challenges. Here's a detail that's particularly fascinating: the way these payments are being funded. Unlike some previous stimulus payments or benefit increases, these payments are coming from a different source, which affects how they're distributed and potentially how they might be taxed. This is actually good news for most beneficiaries, but it's important to understand the implications. For those of you wondering about the long-term impact of these payments, here's something to consider. While these are one-time payments, they're part of a broader strategy to adjust how benefits are calculated and distributed. This could have implications for future benefit adjustments and support programs. One aspect that hasn't gotten much attention in the mainstream media is how these payments fit into the larger picture of Social Security reform. While these immediate payments are certainly welcome news for millions of beneficiaries, they also signal some interesting shifts in how the government is approaching support for Social Security recipients. Let me share something that might surprise you: the timing of these payments actually coincides with some significant changes in how the Social Security Administration processes and distributes benefits. This isn't just a coincidence, it's part of a larger modernization effort that could make future payments and adjustments more efficient. Now, you might be wondering about the verification process. How will you know if you're eligible, and how can you confirm that your payment is coming? Well, there are several ways to check your status, and I'll explain the most reliable methods. But first, let me address a common concern I've been hearing from viewers. Many people are worried about potential scams related to these payments. This is a valid concern, especially given how many Social Security scams we've seen in recent years. Here's what you need to know: the IRS and Social Security Administration will never call, email, or text you asking for personal information about these payments. If anyone contacts you claiming to need information to process your payment, that's a red flag. Let's talk about what happens after you receive your payment. This is important because how you handle this additional money could affect your financial situation in several ways. While there are no restrictions on how you can use the money, there are some smart strategies to consider. Something that's particularly relevant for many beneficiaries is how these payments might affect those who receive multiple types of benefits. For instance, if you receive both Social Security retirement benefits and SSI, or if you're a disabled veteran who also receives SSDI, there are some specific considerations you'll want to keep in mind. Here's an interesting point that often gets overlooked: the role of state benefits and how they interact with these federal payments. Depending on where you live, these payments might affect your eligibility for certain state-based assistance programs differently. It's worth checking with your state's benefits office if you're currently receiving any state-specific assistance. As we start wrapping up, let me address some of the most common questions I've been receiving about these payments. First, regarding back payments: if for some reason you don't receive your payment next week when they start going out, don't panic. There's a process in place for addressing delayed or missed payments, and I'll explain exactly what steps to take if you find yourself in that situation. Before I conclude, here's something crucial to remember: while these payments are automatic for most eligible beneficiaries, staying informed about your benefits and any changes to them is always important. The Social Security system is complex and constantly evolving, which is why staying up to date with reliable information is so crucial. Let me wrap this up by emphasizing a few key points. These payments are real, they're starting next week, and they could make a significant difference for millions of Americans who receive Social Security, SSI, or SSDI benefits. The distribution process is automated for most people, but staying informed about your benefits is always important. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Are you expecting to receive one of these payments? How do you plan to use this additional support? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to hit that like button if you found this information helpful, and subscribe to the channel for more updates on Social Security benefits, retirement planning, and financial news that affects your bottom line. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.